Okay. Atisha was extremely pleased. He said, wonderful. He said, the fact that someone as learned as yourself already lives in Tibet means my visit is quite unnecessary, he said. He again asked, and how do you combine all these teachings when you sit down to practice? That is the crucial point. And Loshen Rinpoche Zomboti said that I practice each one as it is explained in its own text, said Rinpoche Zombo. That means it's like each individual take what they say, but the like group meaning of the teachings, not really to his saying. And then it's like a rotten translators, or Lotsawa is rotten. Cried Atisha. Disappointment. He was very sad. Then my coming to Tibet was necessary after all. And you say like this, you are intelligent, but you cannot resume. You don't know the frame of all the teachings. You like kind of the separately follow up different texts, what different say. Any 84,000 teachings or any Buddha's teaching or Piti instructions, the main really principal subject is the compassion and the empty nature. But of course, if you kind of follow each individual text, what they explain things, it is not really that point. Then it's like a little bit Atisha becomes sad. Then of course Rinchen Zombo is like says, but what should I do instead that if this is not really good, you says the Lotsawa is rotten. Then asked the translator, the Lotsawa, to Atisha. And Atisha replied to saying, you should find the essential point common to all the teachings and practice that way. To essential to resume the frame, the essential point you should to practice. Really here is the meaning essential point among to the teachings. That is like Bodhicitta and the nature emptiness. Or you can say unification of the emptiness and the compassions. That is the essential point. Any perspective of the teachings, that two are the most important. Like kind of the empty aspect, it is the nature, essence nature of all the phenomena of the relative and absolute. And then is the luminosity aspect, everything is connected to the compassions. Path, bhumi, good, bad, samsara, nirvana, everything is luminosity's main crucial essential point, it is the compassion, kindness. That's we developed, every luminosity is become perfect. If we developed the empty aspect of the phenomena, then all phenomena is like kind of become the unique. And is the same ground of the two nature realities. It is indispensable to seek the vital point of the practice used on the teacher's pith instructions. And this essential point, common to all the teachings, you need to rely on your own individual spiritual teachers' pith instructions. All the pith instructions is on the nature of the emptiness and the compassions. For instance, in the relate to the great perfections, creation stage is connected to the compassion. Dissolution stage, it's connected to the empty wisdom. The view of the alpha purities is the wisdom of the emptiness. Spontaneous present, it is connected to the compassion. Any kind of the teachings, pith instructions, in the suttas perspective or the mantrayana's perspective, madhyamika, mahamida, or the great perfections, everything should connect to the wisdom of emptiness and compassions. This is how we can to make the unification of these two. We should rely on the teacher's pith instructions. Therefore, teachers say, listen to me. In your mind, there are the clearly cognitives. Oh yes. But also sometimes there is the clearly luminosities. Oh yes. Then there are the something is understanding, but you cannot talk. There is the pith instructions can occur. But of course, if we do not study, reflect on, not meditate, do not rely on a little bit more on the teacher, then we are separately practice. Oh, that is the empty aspect. That's clarity aspect. Or now I meditate unifications, 3 process. Then you separately to practice incorrect. But how you can to make the resuming indivisibility of the aspect of the luminosity and the empty natures? Rely on the teacher's pith instructions. That's right. Once you know the essential point, you must put it into practice, or it will be utterly useless. If you receive the pith instructions, you understand conceptually in your mind, then you must put it to practice. Experience again and again. If you don't do that, then it's like utterly become useless. There is the example of the Jetsa Malaripa says, hungry are not satisfied by hearing about the food. What they need is to eat. In the same way, just to know about the Dharma is useless. It has to be practiced. That's absolutely truth. When we receive the teaching, we hear, we develop the study wisdoms, and then we reflect on it. conceptually we understand. Then we are kind of the easily to meditate, but we are not meditate, not really practice. Then you know conceptually what is the really realities, but we don't experience. Then it's not very benefit. Like some hungry persons, you talk a lot of delicious food. For this hungry person, it's not benefit. Hungry person should to eat food. Then if the food is coming into the stomach, then it's benefit. Like this. And any kind of things, there is the process. Make joke. I'm like kind of the preventing or cultivating chili. I'm not eating chili, but I love chili. But the seed put into the ground, earth. If I say I want to eat immediately, impossible. If I live like this, don't put earth, water or something, it doesn't grow up. You need a little bit. Seed there is 100% can grow up. You need waiting a little bit while in order to develop. Like this. First your seed, not chili seed, avocado seed, or maybe barley seed, rice seed, of the true nature reality or the pit instructions into your minds, then you need to cultivate. You put fertilize. That means put it into practice. Every day. Experience. That is the fertilize. Then it's automatically can grow up. Then one day 100% manifested. But just, I understand, a little bit kind of lazy way. It is difficult. Of course, we are like kind of the immediate to realize the nature of the realities. Very easily. More easy than hamburgers. More easy than the what? I don't know. In this world, whatever we do things, there is the process. Like this, whatever you received, when you receive the pit instructions, put it into practice, experience again. For example, ancient, even the Jetson Malaripas, during the 6 years, he received some teaching from Mahabharata, conceptually to understand, but really not yet. Afterwards, he come back his homeland. How many years he went in a mountain, jungle, solitude place in order to develop that. Then finally, years after, finally maturated, manifested into his mind. Even the Buddha himself, many there is masters. When we put it into practice, then it's which kind of purpose? The purpose of the practice is to be an antidote for the negative actions and ego clingings. That is the really crucial point. The 84,000 teaching or all the Buddha's teaching is the antidote for the negative emotion and ego clingings. We study more Dharma, we receive more pit instructions, our negative emotion is grow up, more become the fragile, self-centeredness, ego-oriented, very much become the fragile, sensitivities, each moment easily to angry, jealousy, and like kind of hesitation, nervous, desire. Then where is the Dharma? Gone. There's no antidote. Therefore, when we receive the pit instructions, this is put into the practice. This purpose should be antidote for the negative emotions and clingings. then its Dharma is really go fantastic with. And also it's like Jetson Malaripas again saying that it is said that you can tell whether someone has just eaten by how red his face is. Similarly, you can tell whether people know and practice the Dharma by whether it works as a remedy for the negative emotions and ego clingings. If someone's saying that 8, and that is you can to see the face of this person looks like kind of the full, satisfied, that means this person's ate it. And also someone says, like, I know very well about the Dharma. Okay, you know the Dharma very well, but you practice Dharma or not, whether. That is we need to check your worker. It like kind of you really to practice Dharma seriously, honestly, that the Dharma is remedied your negative emotions and ego clingings. Some Dharma practitioners, lesser kind of the negative emotion, lesser ego clingings, that sign really great Dharma practitioners. Potova asked Geshe Tunba, what was the dividing line between Dharma and non-Dharma? Very important questions, crucial questions. How we can to understand this differentiation of between Dharma and not Dharma? Then Tunba Putopa, he replied. Geshe answered, if it is contract, counteract, negative emotion, it is Dharma. That means if it is antidote for the negative emotions, it is Dharma. If not, it doesn't go the antidote, it is non-Dharma, not really Dharma. If it does fit with worldly way, it is Dharma. It doesn't fit with worldly way, it is Dharma. Of course, all the worldly concerning the negative things, 8 worldly concerns, it doesn't go with Dharma, and therefore it doesn't fit with the 8 worldly or 10 negative actions. It doesn't go with that. That is the Dharma. If it is fit worldly, then it's like Dharma business. It is the non-Dharma reality. It's not really Dharma. Worldly Dharma, Mothi Dharma. Dharma is not using Dharma way. If it fits with the scripture and your instructions, it is Dharma. It doesn't fit, it is non-Dharma. Scripture of the Buddha's teachings and also your instructions of the Dharma. It is like kind of the one you practice Dharma. This is fit or corresponding and go together. That is Dharma. But what you are practicing things, it is not corresponding scripture of Dharma or the Buddha's teachings. then it's not really Dharma. Absolutely not Dharma. Something kind of Dharma, but not really Dharma. If it is have a positive imprinting it Dharma, if it is leave a negative imprinting, it is non-Dharma. If leaves a positive imprinting, when we are follow the Dharma, or you teach Dharma, beginning everything looks like good. But if really not kind of the practice Dharma, then maybe the end, it's not a very good trace. Imprinting, it is not very good. Leave, there is such awful things. Look in the many Dharma centers. First is inconceivable teaching, teacher, student, thousand. So many differences. Finally, the place is also when you see hesitations. Student, you see hesitation. Also teachers, very much disappointment. Many like this. This is like kind of the imprinting, it's not very good. That is not Dharma. If the imprinting is good, maybe very small, simple, like Garab Dorje, Shurasingha, or maybe it's the first Patrul Rinpoche. There's nothing place, nothing big center, nothing specific place the student. But imprinting is extraordinary. 100 years passed away, as same as the Jetson Malaripa. Then is the imprinting, is the wonderful, that is the Dharma. But someone is like kind of the negative imprintings. That is the not Dharma. The Master Chegampa said, another Kadampa Geshe, great Geshe, he's saying, to believe in the effect of the action is the right view for those of ordinary faculties. Of course, in the ordinary great practitioner, they have kind of the belief, faith in the fact of the result and the cause or the causalities, effect of the actions. They try to abandon 10 negatives, practice the positives, so on. They believe rebirth, they believe inevitable of the causalities. Focus on it. That is ordinary faculties. And they realize that all inner and outer phenomena as the union both of the appearances and emptiness, and of awareness and emptiness, is the right view for these of higher faculties. It is the most important. In the sutta perspective, we should to learn how it is the unification of the appearances, the emptiness. Therefore, Buddha, he said, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Union both of the appearances is the form and the emptiness. Emptiness is a form. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Forms are not different emptiness, emptiness is not different forms. In the Vajrayana's perspective, the union both awareness and the emptiness. Also awareness, the intrinsic awareness and the empty nature. You can to say the alpha purities. Alpha purity is same as the intrinsic, the awareness. Intrinsic awareness is alpha purities. We need to meditate on the union of this. This, whatever we practice, that is the right view for those of the higher faculties. And then is to realize that the view, one who holder it and realization itself are indivisible, is the right view for those of the highest faculties. Here is the view. It doesn't matter awareness or the emptiness or appearances or the emptiness, or appearances or emptiness of the appearances. Anyway, that view. That view is who is holding realization itself are indivisible. What you are watching or you have view, and also realizer itself, what you are the holding the view. And also it's like kind of what you realize it. You know, in the Pajina Paramata says, someone said, I realize that. That is also the demon's world. What you need to realize. Therefore, this indivisible of view, who is the holder and what is the realizations, these three are the indivisible. That is the view for those of the highest faculties that we need to know about, more to study. If you more to study, maybe a little bit wisdom chapter, Uttaratanta, Abhisamaya Lankara, then it's more clearly. At the moment, we can do more detail, is maybe a little bit useless. Just simple we can do study like this. There's three kind of things. The view is maybe you say emptiness, or appearances, or intrinsic awareness. And this intrinsic awareness or the emptiness is go beyond any elaborations. And if this is go beyond the elaborations, the meditators, how you can to hold, how you can to preserve into your minds. And there is nothing kind of view holding things. What you realize it. Without realization, you realize that something. That is what we call the inconceivable, untalkable, undescribables. These three are become the indivisible. The one pointed or the one single pointed off, maybe your says, the natural expanse of the space or arupa awareness. That is not really emptiness. That is not really appearances. That is not really a intrinsic awareness. That not as emptiness. You say something, you describe something, you realize that something, it is not really our natural state of Buddha nature. If you're holding that, that is the great highest faculties. Then it's like meditations. To keep the mind totally concentrated on its object. It is the correct meditation for those of the ordinary faculties. Just like something is preserved. Maybe you are like kind of subtle. Something is like indivisible, some substantialities. Or maybe it's like kind of not connect object-subject. Inconceivable permanent luminosities. Or maybe it's a little bit kind of nihilistic way to the emptiness. And kind of you like concentrate on it, something objected. Your meditation samadhi is so strong, maybe on any kind of characteristic meditations. Your mind is calm, sit, maintain it, quite very good, fantastic, correct meditations. But that is not really perfect faculties, just ordinary faculties. And then is to rest concentrated on the four unions is the right meditation for those of the highest faculties. That four union already we studied. The union of the emptiness appearances, the union of the awareness and emptiness. These four like kind of the unions. Which one is like the union of emptiness and the appearances? Or the union of the awareness and emptiness. Whatever you kind of the preserved into your mind is, to meditate for those, any kind of the unions, that is the quite highest faculties, but not highest faculties. But very high faculties, instead of the non-conceptualization, in which there is no object of the meditation, no meditator, and no meditative experience. Wonderful. There's no existence of the meditation, no meditate itself. What you need to experience, it is red meditation for those of the highest faculties. That is what we call the non-conceptualizations and the great highest faculties. No object of the meditation, no object of the meditation, no meditator and no meditative experience. It is the right meditation for those of the highest the faculties. That is the non-conceptualizations. No object of meditation, the union of the emptiness appearances. No object of the union of the arupa and the emptiness. There's no object of any characteristics. And also it's like there's no any kind of object of characteristics. Then it's the meditators, it's how the meditators meditate. If there's no other side, there's how it's be to this side. No cause, no result. No result, no cause. No father, no son. No children, no parents. No happiness, no sorrow. No sorrow, no happiness. If there's no object of meditations, there's no meditator. What meditators to appears? If there is no existence of the object of meditation and the meditators, then of course what is the meditative experience? Everything is the non-conceptualizations. That is the great meditations. Still, of course, no interrupted of the appearances appear. You don't need to punish, demolish to these things. Everything is like kind of functionality, but you are meditating. But you are in the non-conceptualizations. And then it's the activities. To be as wary about the perfect of the actions, as one is the carefully to the protect one's eyes in the right action for those of the ordinary faculties. Those ordinary faculties, the activities, how it is they taking care, protect about the causalities, affect and actions, like same as their own eyes. And that same as like this equivalent, they taking care of the causalities. They try, they like kind of never doing any kind of negative actions, all the times acting the positive, because they like kind of the aware of the affect and actions perfectly. This is of course ordinary faculties and actions. Secondarily, the acts while experiencing everything is a dream and on illusions. It is the right action for those of the highest faculties. Of course, it says like 8 similar illusions. Everything is whatever exists in samsara and nirvana. All the phenomena are like dream, hallucination, echo, mirage, like illusion. Is the right action for this of the higher faculties, and total no actions is the right action for these of the highest faculties. What does it mean? Totally no actions. No action, not action positive negatives. Everything is the non-conceptualizations coding actions. That is the right action for those of the highest faculties. Wonderful, extraordinary. We need more deeply. Maybe total no action is the right action for those of the highest faculties. No action is the right action. Wonderful word. No action, it is the right action. And the progressive diminution of the ego clinging, negative emotion, and thoughts is the science of the worth for all practitioners, be they of ordinary, higher, and the highest faculties. Actually, the resumes both three of their perspective. You've practiced the ordinary faculties way, or the highest faculties way, or most highest faculties practice way. But this three perspective, if this path, everything is ego clinging, negative emotions decrease it, that is the sign warmth. Really is a successful dharma for each kind of these practitioners. By their ordinary practitioner or higher practitioner, or highest practitioners, three of their perspective, when you practice dharma, need to diminish of the ego clinging negative emotions. Therefore, similar words are to be the found to the precious supreme path by the peerless Tahu Rinpoche, Tahu Tajin. When study Dharma, therefore you should know how to get at the essence of it. When you are like kind of the hearing, reflecting, study, and at that moment you should to try to understand that the essence of it Dharma, that is the most very, very important. You should know how to get at the essence of Dharma itself. Like what we are saying there. As also the great Longchenpa says, when study Dharma, therefore, you should know how to get at the essence of it. The great Longchenpa says, there are the true, one is you don't need, okay, but maybe mine is problems, yes? You have only one line, yes? When study Dharma, therefore you should know how to get at the essence, yes? Only one line, yes? Okay. In mine is like, maybe we made mistake, 2 lines. The great Longchenpa says, knowledge as a infinite as the start in the sky. There is no end to all this subject. One should study, it is better to, one could study, it is better to grasp straight away the very essence, the unchanging fortress of the Dharmakaya. What does it mean? The need to subject in order to study things, this knowledge is infinite, like start in the sky. If we want to all this thing to study, there's no end at all. These subjects. Impossible. We cannot to study all of them. Instead rather than that, better to grasp, stay aware that very essence, crucial point. One may be like kind of the pit instructions. You should to study quickly, urgently. That is the unchanging forest, means it's like kind of the essence nature. The Dharmakayas of the Dharmakaya, very important to cut that. Unchangeable, no unchanged forests, unchanged fortress, and like kind of the castle, we say it's like. This is like kind of ancient stories. Fortress, you arrive, enemies cannot kill you. But this time you put the bombs. But anyway, unchanged forest of the Dharmakaya, if you be there, 100% is cannot kill by any army negative emotions or the obscurations. Therefore, how you can to reach in the unchanged fortress of the Dharmakaya, quickly, these methods we need to practice. Very important. When as you reflect on Dharma, you should rid yourself of any doubts. Absolutely. When it's like you study like this, like one main essence, which kind of can be to be unchanging fortress of the Dharmakaya, you take on this path, then it's like you reflect on it, experience again and again, to clarify your any doubts necessary. Patamba Sonji says, seek the teacher instructions like a mother falcon seeking her parasite. And like kind of falcon is like special birds. And when you are listening to the instructions, searching for the instructions, and like you need to become like a fork. Falcons. And like kind of the falcon, because it's like she need food for her chicks. And also like kind of the head is very fast, eyes wherever. Like this, we need to become very intelligent when you're searching the pith instructions. And also it's like that when you listen to the teaching, like a deer listen to the music. Deer like very much music. When some malevolent hunters want to kill the deers, they make the kind of the guitar sound. When they listen, desire to the guitar's music sound, even that they can put like kind of the poisoned arrow, they can't almost feeling. Like this, when you are listened very well, extraordinary way, like a deer listen to the music. And meditate on them like a dumb person savoring the food, like kind of dumb, like cannot talk. If you ask how it's the taste, they say like this, inconceivable way. There is a kind of the non-conceptualizations, how you can to your each individual, your awareness to experience. You cannot express, you cannot describe, you cannot transcribe. And contemplate them like a north nomad sharing sheep. When you are like kind of contemplate, reflect on it, and like kind of the one by one. Like north nomads, sharing sheep means it's like kind of the north nomads, sheep's hair to take out. It is like kind of the one by one. And very carefully. Not a kind of the left the wool, but not damage it to the sheep smoothly, like kind of the shearing sheeps. Reach the result like a sun coming out from behind the cloud, like this. And when it's like you practice and absolutely to result something, it's like kind of the sun coming out from the cloud. Your obscuration is melting, disappeared into the sky of the mind. The inner luminosity of the Dzogchen nature, Buddha nature, is coming out like this. Hearing the Dharma, reflect on it, and meditate upon it should go hand and hand. And like kind of the one by one, or like kind of the support each other, hand on hand. And never like kind of the separate like this. Okay, maybe we can stop. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. No. Okay, 10 minutes.